Okay, so doofus purchase. We had a lot of people emailed me or commented to me about this on Facebook. It was this Trajan Denarius with the Mars reverse that was in the Neuman Sale that brought equivalent to, I think it was around $3,800. Hammer is about the equivalence, and they had it only estimated, I think, at $100 to €200, something like that. And everybody said this has got to be a doofus purchase. This is really, really grossly overpriced. And in general, they're right. Let's take a deeper dive into it and really see. We got to decide, and let's do that as a community, guys. Is this a doofus purchase or not? And so when you see rendering of a portrait on a coin that looks like a Greek or Roman statue, you have something really special. And so here on the right, you have a bust here of Trajan, and there you have our coin, our supposedly doofus purchase on the left. And you can see just like how lifelike the portrait is and how realistic the features are. And so this was really a master artist that was creating this die. Now, I didn't show any of these reverse types because these are all have more unique reverse types, and so that's going to also drive the price up on these coins. But these are all hammer prices in USD, so I converted them all. These are all just hammer. It does not include their buyer's fees, so you have to always add that in as the final cost. And you can see these, even though a lot of these had spectacular reverse types or unusual rare reverse types, they'll had fantastic bust types. And if you match our coin up to any of these bust types, yes, some are more fancy, but you can see it really does rival a lot of these great busts. And you can see the prices: $7,000, $6,500, $7,000, $5,250. And yes, it's apples and oranges in a way, but I'm really just talking about the portrait itself and how wonderful it is and how it stacks up to some of the great coins. Here we're getting into coins with just this type, just this reverse type. And you can see, yes, it's the most expensive coin of its type to sell, $3,800. But let's look at some of the other types that were right behind it. So the type below it, $1,000, $1,600, $950. And if you look at the portraits of all those, except for maybe the second highest one at $1,600, because it has that kind of detail in front of the bust underneath his face, which is called the geas. It's kind of like decoration for the military, I believe. It really does stack up as a very realistic portrait, and it does, as far as like that, looking for that type of statuesque portrait, it really is one of the best ones here. Really warrants it. Let's stack it up against Orei, some of the great Orei, and you can see again, look how realistic our portrait is on the silver denarius in comparison to some of this Roman gold. It's much more lifelike and sensitive in the face than even some of the great Orei that have sold for huge money. Now again, apples and oranges, right? But we're just talking about the iconography in itself. So, and now let's go to more typical, what you typically see. This is what you typically see in the market that's going to sell for, $400 to $600, sometimes maybe up to $800, which is, there's gazillions of them. These are some of the better ones. But again, you can see how fantastic portrait is in comparison to ones that sell in the average range and high quality. So you have to really start to think, is it too much money? Is it a doofus, or is it a great purchase? So I think I'm going to leave that up to you all. I may have made an argument one way or the other. My thinking is it was still too much to pay for it, but for great art, sometimes people pay strong money, and it didn't take one person. It was maybe 2 or 3 people who thought that piece was worthy of the price that it brought.